Hello, you are welcome back to my channel, and this is Tom's Kitchen. In today's video, we are making a recipe of fried meat pie. This is one of the pastries that you can find on the street of Accra. Very crispy outside but soft inside with a meat filling. Let's get started. Here are the vegetables that I will be using in today's recipe. I then go ahead and grate 1/4 of a medium onion because I will need some of the onion in a blend form. After that, set it aside and I start by After prepping the vegetables, I then set it aside and I continue with the protein. Today's protein I am using beef, but you can use any protein of your choice. I continue to cut it into small sizes. After cutting the meat, I will then transfer it into my Ninja prep. With this blender, you can get it on the internet. I bought mine from Amazon. So if you need one, you can search for it and then buy it. This is 3 in 1. The one I bought is 3 in 1. So you can search Ninja Prep 3 in 1. It makes the work very perfectly. Ever since I have this blender, I did not buy grounded beef on the market. I do it myself at home. After grounding the beef, I then bring a saucepan to a heat. I allow it to heat up before I add in the oil that I will be using. Today's recipe I am using coconut oil, but you can use any oil of your choice. When the oil heats up, I add some of the onions to the oil and some other spice. Majoran herb, paprika powder, all-purpose seasoning. You can use any seasonings of your choice. I then allow the onion to saute before I add in the grounded beef. I add salt and I continue to stir it until it reach this consistency. And look at inside the pot. There is no oil inside. That's why I like to blend my own beef at home. After allowing the meat to steam for some time, I add water to it, and the water has to be at the same level of the protein. Then cover it and allow it to continue cooking until the meat is tender. In a bowl, I have water, so I add cornstarch to it and I mix it until it is dissolved. And I will be using that for thickening the protein because I don't want to use flour, because whenever I use the flour it gives me some cloudy texture which I don't want it that way. Let's check if the meat is tender. Yeah, it is ready. So I continue to add the mixture to it and I stir it and I allow it to steam for some time. I then keep stirring it until it gets to this consistency, and meaning the meat is ready. So I turn off my heat and I allow it to cool down completely. It's time to start with the dough. I have flour in my mixing bowl, so I add salt, baking powder, butter. You can use margarine instead of butter. Then I use my dough mixer to mix it until it's combined. I then transfer my hand into it and I mix it until everything is well combined. After mixing it, this is how it's supposed to be, very fluffy. Then I create a hole at the middle. I add in the onion and water. I will list all the ingredients and the measurements at the description box or at the comment section. If you haven't followed my page yet, then kindly click on the notification bell. You can also subscribe or follow my page, and by doing that you'll be part of the Tom's Kitchen family, and whenever I uploaded a new video you will be notified. When it forms a gluten, I then cut the dough into two and I use a plastic foil to wrap it nicely. After that, I'll put it in the refrigerator to continue cooling. Let's check on the filling if it has completely cooled down. When it does, then add the vegetables to it and stir it, and now the filling is ready. I then set it aside. I use a flour to dust the working surface and I begin to work on the dough. After working on the dough, I use a glass bowl to cut the shape that I want. You can use even a cup, anything at all, to cut it, and it will give you the nice shape that you want. If you have a meat pie cutter, you can use that one to cut it. But for me, this bowl gave me the perfect size that I want. And because there is no space for the big bowl, I'll use my meat pie cutter to cut it in a small shapes. With the pieces, I will not throw it away. I will show you what I use my pieces for. I have flour and water. I'll use the water as a gluten and it will work out always perfectly. I then scoop the meat filling into the pie. I use a small spoon to bring it together. Then I raise the other part and I cover it nicely. After covering it, I make sure that I use my finger thumb before I use the fork to press it. Putting the fork into the flour before using it to press, it helps it not to raise or stick on the dough. While I am doing this, I add oil to my saucepan and I put it on the fire at a medium heat to be preheating. And there I add it to the oil and I fry them until they are golden brown. For you to get a golden brown color, let your heat should be at a medium heat. If it is too low, the pie will soak the oil. If it is too hot, it will burn quickly without you getting the golden brown. But the medium heat will give you a perfect color that you want. And this is the golden color that we want. I hope you enjoy watching the video. Then give the video a credit by clicking on the liking button. You can also share the recipe. You can leave your comment at the comment section. This is what I use the dough pieces for, so nothing is wasted. I paired mine with some orange juice and trust me, it tastes very delicious, crispy outside, soft inside.